Welcome to Lawyers Who Care, the video show podcast that highlights attorneys who go above and beyond for their clients. And on each episode, we will meet a new lawyer and they will share stories of when they went beyond legal counsel for the benefit of their client. My name is Andrew Samalin. I'm the principal of Samalin Wealth, a nationally recognized wealth management firm for lawyers, their firms, and their clients. And let's applaud lawyers who care and learn from them. Today, my guest is William Ricigliano. He is the founder and managing partner of RF Injury Law, and he practices in New York, in New Jersey, and has obtained multiple seven-figure settlements for accident victims. Welcome, William.
Thank you, Andrew. Good to be here.
Great. So, William, tell us about the firm. How did you come to, first tell us about the firm and tell us how you came to the law.
So we are what they call a boutique firm or a smaller firm. We specialize in personal injury law. That's all we do here. I happen to be a trial lawyer, so I try a fair number of cases. My particular specialty is traumatic brain injury and construction accidents, which unfortunately in New York City happen pretty often. So that's my particular specialty. I first became interested in possibly being a lawyer when I was in high school. I was very close with a history professor of mine, and I used to spend a lot of time in his office. And one day, he was just asking me about my future and what my plans were. And he said to me, I think you might want to consider going into the law. I think that might be a profession that's particularly suited for you. And that's sort of what started me thinking about it. And then when I got to college, I took some general courses in law, constitutional law. I took a course in criminal law and started to get more of an interest. And then I had an internship at a law office. And at that point, I sort of decided that that's the path I wanted to pursue.
And how did you come to your focus, your practice focus?
Well, when I was in school, I was not particularly good at math or science. I was good at English. I was good at history. But the one area of science that I was sort of good at was biology and anatomy. So I always kind of had an interest in anatomy. So it was kind of a natural progression to become a personal injury lawyer. I also knew I wanted to be a trial lawyer. And I didn't want to do criminal law. So most trial lawyers either work for the district attorney's office or they are civil litigators. And because I really didn't have an interest in criminal law, I sort of knew I wanted to be a civil litigator, a trial lawyer. And that's kind of how I took the path to become a personal injury lawyer. I also worked as a claims adjuster at an insurance company before I went to law school. And so I was adjusting claims and handling these kind of matters pre-litigation or pre-suit, and found that to be very, very interesting. And so that's kind of how I got into this profession. In fact, when I went to law school, the only thing I really wanted to do was have my own practice, try cases, and be a personal injury lawyer. So I ended up doing exactly what I set out to do, fortunately.
So you went straight from law school to private practice?
I took a year off to work at an insurance company. Then I went to law school. And then when I got out of law school, I started out doing plaintiff work. And then I switched to do defense work and was doing defense work. And I got fired from my job. And that's when I went and started my own practice. It was a very strange thing for me because it was the first time in my life that I felt compelled to do something. I just knew I had to do it. And when I look back, it was crazy because I had no clients, no money, no staff, no office, nothing. But I just knew it was something I had to do. And I got about a month's severance from the job that fired me. In that month, I got a practice up, I got business cards. And then I started looking for work. And fortunately, 20 plus years later, I'm still in practice for myself.
That's great. And you said at the beginning there was a interesting client story you wanted to share.
Yeah, so I mentioned my specialty is traumatic brain injury. And I had a client several years ago, another firm was representing her. And traumatic brain injury clients need a lot of attention, not in a bad way. They require, they have a lot of questions. Very often they don't know the process. And because they don't have a physical injury, the injury is internal. I think a lot of people don't understand what they're going through. And because I've been doing this a long time, I really have a rapport with my clients who have traumatic brain injury. So the firm, I think, wasn't really equipped to handle this particular client. They referred her to me, and all of the meetings that we had were at her apartment. She never came to my office. I always went to her. And we developed an immediate rapport. And as I was getting to know her, uh, I really got to know her story as a person, not just as a client. And I remember that as I was going along, because I had developed this uh, close relationship with her, I really wanted very much to get her result. I felt that she needed it, she deserved it, and I knew that she had unequivocal trust in me. And I remember there were many nights I would lie awake in bed at night and worry, what if I can't get the result? Can I get the result? And I remember I would use that as fuel to work as hard as I could on her case. And I would come in and I really was able to develop the case the way that I needed to develop it. And I remember the day that we settled it. We were right on the precipice of starting a trial, and we were doing a mediation. And the mediation and the settlement actually went very smoothly. We were able to get a number that was going to compensate her and really protect her and her future. And I remember that after I called her to tell her that we had gotten a number that I was going to recommend that she take, and she started to cry. And I could just tell how happy and relieved she was. And my favorite part of the story is while I was representing her, every year for my birthday, she would send me the same gift. She would send me this gourmet popcorn.
Hmm.
And I
What
represented
flavor?
her all different kinds of flavors, sweet, savory. It comes in a big
Hmm.
bin.
Hmm.
But I represented her probably close to 10 years ago. And every year, still, I get the same popcorn on my birthday. In fact, my birthday was last month. And sure enough, it came in the mail. And I
Hmm.
always reach out to her. And it's just nice to know that you were able to deliver for the client, that they appreciate it, and that you were able to build this relationship with the client beyond just representing them as a client.
Hmm. For sure. Well, just so everyone knows, today my guest is William Ricigliano. He's the founder and managing partner at RF Injury Law. He practices in New York and New Jersey. William, so that you could provide our audience with contact information, could you offer best way to get in touch?
Sure. So our office number is 212-725-5755. Our website is rfinjurylaw.com. And anyone out there who has any questions can email me at wricigliano at rfinjurylaw.com.
Can you spell that? Because
Sure.
people are going to want to know.
Sure. It's Wricigliano at R like Robert, F like Frank, law or injurylaw.com.
Wonderful. Everyone, this has been the Lawyers Who Care video show podcast that highlights attorneys that go above and beyond for their clients. And as you could see, William is certainly a clear description of that. If you're an attorney or know one who goes above and beyond, please feel free to reach out to us, 914-666-6600, 914-666-6600. William, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, Andrew. Thank you.